Hello world, welcome back to Radiolink RC. So if you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I do enjoy reviewing radio transmitters in the RC world. So I've done a bunch of reviews on Spectrums, Sanwas, Futabas. And so Radiolink actually approached me recently and asked if there were any products that I was interested in reviewing. Now, I don't normally review sponsored products. This is actually the very first one I'm doing. But even though it's not something I was probably going to buy on my own, I thought there were people out there that are probably interested in knowing more about this radio, so I accepted their offer. They sent this out to me for free, so I'm going to be doing an unboxing video and giving you my thoughts. The Radiolink sells for $76 on Amazon here in the United States. It's kind of what I would consider somewhere between an RTR and entry-level radio, but with the features, it looks like, of mid-range radio. So that's going to be kind of interesting. It sells for $76, where most of the competition is, well, definitely all the competition is over $100, and RTR radios, you know, sort of in like the $30 range. So it's kind of in that middle spot there, and I think maybe something that's interesting to budget consumers, something that want to upgrade their radio, maybe do a little club racing. So I'm going to open this up and we'll see how it actually performs. But today we're going to look inside the box. So I have not opened this yet. Quick look at the box. Radiolink, fairly simple graphics, you know, not super stylish. Has a little handle on top I found kind of interesting. Actually a nice little graphic on top showing you what it looks like on the side. So made in China. Radiolink is a Chinese company. Here's their location if you need to contact them. So you can see a lot of Chinese characters, wording on here. It is FHSS spread spectrum. The specs on this thing are actually fairly impressive. I mean, they're claiming like 11 millisecond frame rate. I think it's 2048 resolution, which is basically how fine granularity the actual sending of the signal is to the servos and receivers and all that kind of thing. So it looks like actually a fairly impressive, technically, but we'll have to see how it is inside. So let's pop this open. No seals, and things are encased in styrofoam. This is the 6-channel radio. So the technical specs are quite impressive, and for this price point, pretty amazing actually. So here's the radio. Let's pull it out. We have a receiver, 6-channel receiver, and I think that's pretty much. No batteries. You will have to support that yourself. Let's go through the manual real quick. So fairly simple looking manual. Actually, some nice clear photos, diagrams. I did read the manual online. And what I can say is, it just kind of folds out like that. That's interesting. Okay, it just folds together. Anyways, what I can say from the manual is that I was a little concerned with the translation. Being a Chinese company, sometimes the translations don't come through that well, but it's actually better than average, especially when you compare to something like a FlySky. The manuals for those are really, really bad. I think they did a decent job with this. So on the front is English, on the back is Chinese, if you can read that. Maybe you would prefer that side. So only 2 languages, Chinese and English. That covers, I guess, most of the world. Receiver, 6-channel receiver. This is the R6FG. Radiolink. I believe these are fairly inexpensive, like under $20, so that's another draw of this radio. So here it is, the RC6GS. This came out in January, I think, of 2018, maybe December, the end of 2017, somewhere around there. It's an update on their RC4G, which 4GS, I believe, so it's their previous radio. They changed the coloring a little bit. This is kind of this nice pewter or metallic gray. They added additional switches up here, so you have a switched channels here. I believe what's that, switch C and switch B, so I guess they're calling it B and C. Oh, 3-position switch. Oh, pretty nice. Little dial here, variable rate. I guess so. They got switched A, B, and C, and then a variable rate that you can use for different things. Steering wheel is changed a little bit. Plastic. Reasonably good foam. A little bit of play. Feels like it rides on ball bearings. Medium spring tension. Trigger, okay, the trigger is kind of a long throw. So if you got short hands, or maybe it's the handle, I prefer kind of more vertical handles. This one is definitely more of a swept back handle, a little bit of texture here for your fingers and the back of your hand, but kind of a long throw, in my opinion. Battery tray, let's pop that open. Takes 4 AA's. I believe you can also use 2S and 3S LiPo, probably a life battery as well, nickel metal hydride. On the back we've got DSC plug, not really sure what that's for. And then here's the on-off switch and a data port. So you can update firmware and stuff on this radio. External antenna, right? So not very common nowadays. They claim, I think, 300 meters in range, which is ridiculously far. I'll probably test it out to 200 and see if it actually goes that far. Not a big fan of external antennas just because they can break. So maybe for crawling or for long distance stuff, speed runs, that makes sense. But overall, I do prefer integrated internal antennas. Switches feel about standard. A little bit of play. So that's what it looks like. Let's throw some batteries in this thing. Okay, I got some batteries in this, and the first time I powered it up, it started beeping at me and complaining about low power. So right off the rip, one thing you'll have to do if you're running basically AA batteries is going into the menu system. So you hold down both of these, and then you want to go all the way down to alarm. And it was set to basically LiPo, 2S LiPo, 2S 7.2 volts, and the alarm was set to 5 volts, which was way too low. So even fully charged nickel metal hydride AA batteries is going to be right at about 5 volts. It was complaining right away that it had a low voltage, and so I had to go in this menu and change it real quick. I dropped it down to 4.3 volts. You want to do that right off the bat if you're running basically AA's, because it will complain to you. So a little bit annoying. Probably they should have set it to nickel metal hydride by default, but I guess LiPo is a little safer. But anyway, so let's go through the radio now that we've got it on. So steering wheel, as you can see, basically you can see it going left and right there on the display, and then throttle, full forward, full brake. You've got the voltage, as I mentioned, the model, and then the model name, which you can adjust, and then the actual Radio RC6GS. So far, I've actually been really impressed with the buttons. I know it sounds kind of funny, but I'm a big, I don't know what the word is, stickler for how a radio feels, how it, the user interface, everything. The menu online on other videos I've seen didn't look that great, but the display is actually really, really good. It's a much higher resolution display than other radios in this price point. Actually really good. It's got a nice little slider bar so you can see where you are in the menu system. So plus, minus, go up, down, enter, or exit to go forward or back. So we saw a language which has English and Chinese. You can adjust the model. I believe it's 10 different models, yep. Endpoint adjustments, steering throttle. So I believe these only go up to 120% each. So let's go back. From my understanding, only 120%, yep. So not as high as some radios. Will be adequate for most cars, but you may have some cars if you're using high endpoints that it won't work. Steering expo, throttle expo, so a bunch of different throttle expo adjustments. Throttle speed, which is really unusual. I've never used that before, so I'll have to see what that does. ABS, so anti-lock brake system. A lot more adjustments on ABS than other radios. The other radios I've had with ABS basically just have a sort of a low, medium, high to adjust how much it's going to impact your driving. Acceleration, don't really know what that is. Idle up, I guess, is a nitro thing. So sub trim you can adjust on all 6 channels, very nice. Servo reversing, of course, all 6 channels. Dual rate for steering and throttle. I don't know what ATL is. So a lot of these things, honestly, this probably has more adjustments than any other radio I own, and that's like $300 radios I'm talking about. So mixing, I don't do a lot of crawling or mixing, so that might be fun to play with, but not something I'm going to typically use. So here, I think you can adjust what all the different switches are linked to which channels. Nice to see it. So it's basically programmable. Names for models, I'm guessing. Yep. So alarm we've seen. Gyro. So this is basically how much you want the gyro to impact your driving. Standard, variable rate. So, oh, I guess you can adjust that to different levels, or you could use, I believe you can use the variable rate knob to adjust your gyro. Pretty dang cool. I don't know what this is, failsafe, I'm guessing. So anyways, yeah, a ton of adjustments. That's all the menu items. Honestly, so far, I'm actually really impressed with this radio. The plastics are really nice. Controls feel good. The steering wheel a little sloppy. The trigger a little bit far for my liking. But I do have short hands. You know, the trigger just, there's no grooves, no grip on this thing. The plastics are a little bit thin, but it's actually quite smooth. Feels like it rides on ball bearings as well. So tons of adjustments. Honestly, like the thing I thought would be good about this radio, the amount of adjustments, and the screen obviously put it in a class above its, you know, punching weight. Above its weight class, 4.9 volts. The display is way above average for a $76 radio. The adjustments is way above average for $76 radio. The thing I was concerned about is like build quality and feel of the radio, but this is a very solid feeling. I mean, it looks like pretty decent radio. So I am actually fairly impressed so far with this radio. Definitely will have to drive it, play with it some more, see how the response time is, see how the range is, but so far I am actually liking what I see. So quick update on my channel. This is my first sponsored product. Honestly, I did not want to take sponsored products unless I thought they had the potential to be a good product that I thought people should buy, and so far I am impressed with the RC6G. So pleasantly surprised so far. Do like what I see. Thanks for watching my video. Please like, subscribe to my channel as always, and look for a full review of this radio soon. Thanks.